Hello everyone, my name is Shane, and in this video, we're going to be doing an unboxing, and I'm going to give my first impressions on the Galaxy S25 Ultra. This phone is available for pre-order at the time of this video. I'll have some links to it in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. The retail price is $1,300. Comes in 7 different colors. We have black, gray, silver, and this blue color we're going to be checking out here today. And there's 3 Samsung.com exclusive colors: pink gold, jet black, and jade green. There's 3 different configurations to choose from. We have 256 gigabyte storage standard, 512 gigabytes, and up to 1 terabyte of storage. And all these models come packed with 12 gigabytes of RAM. Shout out to Samsung for sending out this review unit ahead of time. Inside the box, have our device. Let's see what else we get in the box. We get a Type-C to Type-C charging cable, we get a little bit of paperwork, and we have a SIM ejection tool, but that's everything inside. Let's go ahead and check out the star of the show here, the Galaxy S25 Ultra. First impressions, immediately add the packaging. Even though this is the blue color, in some angles, like my top-down shot here, it definitely looks gray, but if you put it into different lighting conditions, that blue really comes through, looks really nice. We also have some physical refinements going on here compared to last year's S24 Ultra. The most notable change here is that we are getting rounded corners now on this S25 Ultra over that conventional boxy design that we took over from the Galaxy Notes and made their way over to the S series. It still overall does have that boxy appearance to it. If you compare this to an S24 from last year, you can see much more rounded corners on those devices. So we still have a bit of an Ultra look here, but compared to the Ultra line itself, it definitely is rounding out more. Now, what I especially notice here is we do have a lighter weight on this S25 Ultra. So if we do a quick weight check here, we have 218 grams for the S25 Ultra. Now, if I take last year's S24 Ultra, you can see here 233 grams, so a significant weight difference here to my surprise on this S25 Ultra. We also have much flatter sides now on this S25 Ultra compared to the S24 Ultra. You can see how much more rounded they were on last year's S24, but they're flattened out here now. It is worth mentioning that we still do have a rounded feel on the back of this S25 Ultra, so you have a nice rounded feeling in the back, the rounded corners to complement it, and having near 20 grams lighter weight makes this feel like a much more manageable device given how large it is. Taking a quick physical tour now, on the left side we have our 5G antenna. On the right we have our volume rockers and our power button. On the top we have 2 mics. On the bottom, we have another mic. We have our SIM tray, which has room for 1 physical SIM card. You can also add an eSIM and a dual eSIM setup if you want to. However, there is no micro SD expansion. We have our Type-C port capable of 45-watt super fast charge, have our bottom firing speaker, and of course the beloved S Pen all the way over here on the left. Love the S Pen functionality with this. Overall, physically seems to feel and look very similar to the previous S Pens. Might have a little bit different of a tip at the top there. Just a slightly different top there on this S25 Ultra S Pen, but overall seem to be very similar. And now taking our first look at the 6.9-inch 1440p 120Hz AMOLED display. We do have a little bit of a larger display now on this S25 Ultra compared to the S24 from last year, mainly thanks to some reduced bezels. So I can tell, if you look at the sides here, you can notice the reduced bezels here on this S25. We do have what looks like an entirely flat display here on this S25 Ultra, so no edge display going on here. And as far as the anti-reflectivity, it looks to be the same on this S25 as it was on last year's S24. But with all that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead, put my information in this phone, use it for the day, and I'll come back with my final first impressions on the Galaxy S25 Ultra. Alright, so it's been a full day now since I first started using this S25 Ultra. I'm definitely ready to share some of my first impressions with you guys. So getting into the phone, the biometrics, we have an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner. This gets you in instantly with a tap of your thumb every single time. Has worked without fail for me, gets you in really quickly and easily. Then we also have the face recognition on top. Either way, it gets you into your phone super quick. And once you're in, you'll be greeted by the new 6.9-inch display. I've been really enjoying this display. My first day of usage, actually a little bit more over the S24 Ultra to my surprise. I think mainly because this S25 Ultra is slimmed down a little more on the sides. And we do have that slight bezel reduction, but overall, we have what feels like a little bit more compact of a phone with still a very large display. When considering that 15 grams of reduced weight, it just makes this S25 Ultra a lot more enjoyable to use in your average everyday usage, using it for extended periods of time, watching YouTube on it, and landscape orientation. And something else I've noticed go really well with these physical refinements are the software refinements. With One UI 7, this has been a very clean software so far. Really, the only differences you have are that you swipe down from the top to get to your notifications, then you swipe down from the top right corner to access your quick settings, similar to what we've had on iPhones for a while now. But overall, the performance on this has been extremely smooth, opening all your applications and just the animations and things. It's all super smooth and buttery on this One UI 7. So we have a little bit of some updated icons and things too. Really like how smooth and fluid it is initially. And something else that has also been noticeably improved on this S25 Ultra is the battery life. Even though we have the same capacity of 5,000 milliamp hours as we had on last year's S24 Ultra, I am getting noticeably more battery life on this S25 Ultra in my first day of usage compared to when I used my S24 Ultra last year on its first day of usage. So to put things into perspective for my initial battery metrics on this S25 Ultra, I used these phones in my first day very similarly, very heavy usage, testing out the cameras, doing some gaming testing, watching a few hours of YouTube, doing a lot of multitasking and web browsing. So last year on my S24 Ultra, in a very similar use case to what I just did on this S25 Ultra, I got 7 hours of screen on time in a 24-hour period on this phone. Whereas in my first 24 hours of usage on this S25 Ultra, I got 8 hours and 20 minutes of screen on time. So a noticeable improvement in the battery life overall, which, as I just explained, consisted of a few hours of watching YouTube, a little bit of battery from the always on display, a couple of hours of productivity in Excel, doing some gaming testing for about a half an hour, doing a fair amount of web browsing, writing some notes in Samsung Notes, playing around with some of the AI features in the gallery. My key initial takeaway with this new 8 Elite processor in here as far as the battery efficiency goes, if you're doing basic things, just browsing on YouTube and just going on the news and social media apps, you are going to get phenomenal battery life, so I'm definitely excited to test out this battery further in the next couple of days. Taking a look at the cameras around back, we have the same setup here as what we had on last year's S24 Ultra. The only difference now is on that ultra wide lens, we now have a 50 megapixel option instead of just the 12 megapixel. But overall, by far, this is Samsung's most versatile camera system on any of their phones. We have so many options here with the zoom. So again, we have that ultra wide, which can now go up to that 50 megapixel option. We also have a 2x, which is new now on this S25 Ultra, and then the same as we had before, the 3x optical, the new 5x optical, the 10x, which is technically a digital, but gives you near optical quality of previous Ultra phones. And here's a look at the 30x and 100x zoom in action. So overall, a ton of versatility on this camera as far as all the different zoom lenses. And as expected, the 200 megapixel mode is giving me some really good results in my initial usage. So picture my puppy here. You can zoom in really close. You still have a ton of detail on your photos. So really liking the 200 megapixel mode initially. Looking at the video side of things, in my initial 4K 60 filming looks really smooth here. I was walking on straight ice, slipping a couple times and shaking the phone around a lot, so really good stabilization here. And the most interesting change on the video side for me personally is the new audio eraser feature. So I have a video sample to show you guys. If you come down here to the AI button, it's going to go ahead and analyze the sound of your video clip. And then very quickly, you have your various sound sources in your video, and you're able to increase or decrease the amount of each of these in the video file. I'll go ahead and play the clip.
So doing a quick video test here, I have a trash truck behind me running on idle, so I just wanted to see the audio reduction in the background.
So you can definitely hear the trash truck in this video. So I can go up to noise here. I can reduce the noise to -100. There was also some wind in this video, so I can just go ahead, reduce that to -100 as well. And now let's go back and listen to this again.
So doing a quick video test here, I have a trash truck behind me running on idle, so I just wanted to see the audio reduction in the background that they just showed in the presentation.
So definitely a noticeable difference in that second video, not having really any of the trash truck noise at all. So you can go ahead, make those changes and save a copy of it. And then that file will still be saved at your original resolution and frames, even though it looks a little choppy on that editing screen. This was filmed in 4K 60. So again, really nice, smooth, good looking footage on the front facing camera in addition to that rear camera. And this is just one of many new Galaxy AI features coming to this phone. Whatever the newest device is, Samsung's going to be putting the newest Galaxy AI features into it. But some of these have felt genuinely useful in my first day of use. And as far as other AI functionality on this phone, I want to address Google Gemini, since this was also pushed heavily at the Samsung event. But the reality of this new Gemini functionality and features and capabilities is that in 6 months, you're going to have to start paying for some of the advanced features. So I definitely don't like that. So this is set up by default with the long press on your phone. So if you go into your settings, you can change this to Bixby. And I know Bixby has gotten so much hate over the years, but it's actually been genuinely useful for me. So change the brightness to 50%. It can do some of these on-device features, which I know that's very basic, but that simple task is something I can't do with Gemini. So if I switch back to the Gemini Assistant, change brightness to 50%. So it says, I can't help with that. So you're going to be paying for something that can't help you with simple functionalities. I also noticed that Bixby is better at some tasks initially compared to the Gemini Assistant. Write an email to sstechinquiries@gmail.com.
What's the subject of your email?
Checking in.
What would you like to say in your email?
Hey, how are things going? Just wanted to check in and hope to talk to you soon.
Got it. Please review the drafted email and hit send when you're ready.
So this opens it up on its own, writes everything out that you asked verbatim, works really well. So I'm liking Bixby for some of these on-device things. Now, if I switch back to Gemini and try that same thing, write an email to sstechinquiries@gmail.com.
Sure, here is an email to sstechinquiries.
See, so it just kind of does its own thing. It's just writing a general email, which this is not even what I wanted at all. So even though the Gemini is being heavily pressed in the initial coverage here, personally, the Bixby Assistant has been better for me. Open battery usage analytics. So it's really nice to just get to really specific spots you want to on your device. Open YouTube and Chrome in split screen. So it works pretty fast, gets you in really nicely. So really liking the Bixby functionality initially on this. But overall, first impressions of the S25 Ultra, very impressed with this device initially. More than I was originally expecting. The physical refinements on this phone have been noticeable for me in my first day of usage, with the slimmer bezels, just the slimmer overall feel and form factor of the phone. I usually end up using the Plus series of these S series phones for the past few years because it is that bit smaller and lesser weight. But now that we have that lighter weight on this Ultra model, you're getting best of both worlds situation here with a larger display and what feels like a very lightweight phone in the hand in comparison to the previous Ultra devices. Really, the only downside to this S25 Ultra is we no longer have the Bluetooth functionality of the S Pen. It's only going to be your on-screen things. So this is still very functional. You can go into things and use this kind of mouse hover over feature for a lot of things with the pen, even though it doesn't have the Bluetooth. It really just mainly affects you being able to take pictures with this remotely, which you can just put your hand up to take pictures with Samsung software. And thinking back over the years, I think I used the camera shutter for a family photo at Christmas one time over all these years of using all these Samsung phones. So while I understand it is frustrating and unfortunate when companies take features away, it's honestly something I wasn't using all that often. So it is not a deal breaker for me personally. I'm going to be jumping up to this S25 Ultra because of a lot of these physical refinements and the under the hood refinements. So even though a lot of other people are saying this phone is virtually the same as the S25 Ultra and there's nothing different with it, it's some of these minor differences that really make all the difference for me personally in my average everyday use. So I am definitely going to be using this S25 Ultra more. Stay tuned for more videos from me. But in the meantime, I'll be curious to hear your thoughts on the S25 Ultra in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and stay tuned for some of my upcoming content on this S25 Ultra, like the official case lineup video and a short-term review I hope to have out in a couple days. Take care.